What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name is Justin, this is Pete, and today we're going to be talking about the second episode of the brand new Chucky television series on Sci-Fi and USA. Be sure to stay tuned at the end of this video. I've included a little skit that me and Pete actually shot way back when I very first started my channel, a little skit we did with Chucky here, way back, well over a year ago, like within the first couple months of me starting my channel. Fairly entertaining, fairly cringe, but nonetheless, it's a part of the channel and it lives on forever in infamy. So I've included that, so be sure to check that out at the end of the episode. Now let's go ahead and dive in to this second episode of the Chucky series. And guys, I really enjoyed this second episode. The first episode of the show was directed by Don Mancini. The second episode is directed by Dermot Downs. He's done a fantastic job with this episode, making the most of the production values with great camera work, good camera movement, great production design. This episode is colorful, weaving all of these developing characters, storylines together in a really suspenseful way. Episode 2, Give Me Something Good to Eat, is a really good step forward in the Chucky series. I'm looking forward to breaking this episode down. There's a lot covered in this episode, so we're going to dive right into it. Chucky, episode 2, Give Me Something Good to Eat. Are you ready, Pete? Are you ready to dive into this episode? Are you going to sit down, or are you just going to just stare at me like a psycho and make me nervous the whole time? You're just going to stare at me like a psycho and make me nervous the whole time. That's fine. Also, guys, I think I've finally fixed the sound issues that have been plaguing my last few videos, so let me know in the comments down below how the audio is sounding in this one, specifically my voice. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into this episode. The episode starts out with a little recap read by Chucky himself, Brad Dourif.
Previously on Chucky.
I kind of like the previously on Chucky recap in case you missed the episode or in case you just needed to be filled in and needed a little refresher. I think the TV show aspect of this whole thing is making it more exciting, with the commercial breaks leaving cliffhangers, allowing all of the stories to sort of breathe and have a little bit more space. Chucky is fitting really well, in my opinion, in the TV formats. I thought that was a cool little thing, how Chucky himself is reading the previously ons. This episode, like episode 1, also starts out with a flashback, this time from Halloween 1965, taking us back to Halloween with little Charles Lee Ray as he finds a razor blade in the apple and proceeds to just eat it like a psycho and smiles as blood drips from his lip, further cementing that Charles Lee Ray, even as a child, something was just off about this dude. I kind of like how they're digging into the childhood of Charles Lee Ray and showing us what he was like as a kid, giving us a little backstory. I'm really digging that. I've actually heard some people not liking that, wanting the mystery, but I personally really dig them diving back into the childhood of Charles Lee Ray, our serial killer, embodying Chucky right now. And also, just like in episode 1, we have an intro from the Hack and Slash podcast. He sort of gives us a little insight in the rise in crime around Halloween. Also, in particular, that this year Halloween will be falling on a full moon, so keep that in mind. Then we then pick up with Jake now with his new family, his aunt and uncle, and his cousin Junior. On the ride to school here in the scene, we also get a little insight into what Junior's home life is like. We find out that not everything is perfect as it seems on the inside. They really keep Junior, his parents really keep Junior under his thumb, even so much as controlling what he eats and basically every aspect of his life, as they're obsessed with his future and his college and his extracurriculars. Life is hard for Junior as well, and that may be why he acts out and takes out his anger on people like Jake and others. Further giving depth to his character, I like how this show really tries to give every character a full picture. At this point in the episode, we haven't seen Chucky. We really don't know what he's up to, being that we left off with him threatening to kill Lexi. We're still wondering where the hell Chucky is at this point. So I'm a nerd and I like to talk about the filmmaking aspects of movie and television shows. In this scene, we also have some really good camera work where the camera seems to be rotating around our characters and Jake as he walks up to the school. It's really good. The camera's always moving on this and it gives a nice feeling of suspense. I really dig that. As Jake is dropped off and he walks towards the school, he's approached by Oliver, a classmate who has previously given him a lot of shit, maybe bullied him in the past. Oliver invites him to his Halloween party as his parents are out of town in London. Jake, of course, is a little skeptical, being that one of his previous bullies is inviting him to the party, but Jake becomes even more more skeptical of Oliver's invitation after he invites Chucky to the party. Everybody wants to see Chucky again after his performance at the talent show. Speaking of the talent show, we then cut to Junior and Lexi having a conversation. Junior expresses sympathy for Jake after what happened, after his dad was killed, because the entire school is now whispering and spreading rumors about how much of a freak Jake is and how weird the circumstances were of his dad dying. Lexi is also still very much pissed after Chucky's performance at the talent show, even saying the word "fuck Jake" with a chainsaw. Being the self-absorbed person that she is, she's far more worried about her reputation in school and being humiliated than she is about Jake and what happened to his dad. Some of you may have recognized that chainsaw line as a reference to Heather's.
Fuck me gently with the chainsaw.
Also, another notable interaction within this scene is Devin and Jake having a conversation. It being revealed that Devin himself lost his father when he was 9, so they have a little bonding moment here. And Devin also asked him to bring Chucky to the Halloween party, so the pressure's mounting. Everybody wants another Chucky appearance, including us as the audience. And in the next scene, we get that. In Jake's room as the housekeeper is tidying up, Chucky knocks a vase over behind the housekeeper. She turns her attention to him, noticing a little drop of blood on Chucky's face. She cleans it off, and then we cut to him stalking her throughout the house, ultimately killing her by pushing her onto an open dishwasher door and impaling her with a shitload of knives that were sitting in here. This was a fantastic first kill of the episode. We get this great shot of the reflection of Chucky in the knife, which was just fantastic. Also to note, so far in this series, Chucky's animation and the look of Chucky is just absolutely amazing. His facial movements look great. I think they are using some sort of mix between practical and CGI, but it just looks fantastic. Immediately following the murder, Jake and Junior arrive back after school, and in some clever camera work again, they show Chucky sort of escaping upstairs as the kids arrive in the house, ultimately discovering the housekeeper's body. The detectives arrive, and one detective in particular is extremely suspicious of Jake now that we have 2 mysterious freak accidents that have now occurred in Jake's life. So Chucky has now gotten away with 2 murders, disguising them as freak accidents. This latest murder also sort of throws a wrench in the narrative that Chucky is only hurting people that seem to cause harm to Jake. This is sort of an unprovoked murder, further showing that Chucky will just indiscriminately kill anybody that crosses his path. Chucky, of course, denies having anything to do with the murder of the housekeeper. Chucky then attempts to further manipulate Jake by telling him about his son, the fact that he's queer and gender fluid, which Chucky seems to be doing this solely to gain his trust and to further manipulate him.
I'm not a monster, Jake.
In my opinion, this is just a real convenient situation that Chucky has going. He has a house to hide out into. He has this ally to the outside world in Jake. I think he's purely using his situation to continue his bloodlust. That's just my opinion. Maybe he does have a little bit of fondness for Jake, but I think his lust for murder overtakes that. Junior then goes into Jake's room and discovers some online stalking that Chucky has done. Of course, thinking that it's Jake, not knowing that it's Chucky who's planning to murder Lexi at this point. We then cut to Lexi's house and we get a little peek into her life, her and her sister and her parents. You see that Lexi, along with Junior, both have a prickly relationship with their parents and a little bit of anger that they might be taking out on other people just because they have sort of shitty parents. Her little sister's drawing a picture of Chucky. She seems to be quite fond of little Chuck. Chucky and Lexi's sister's involvement was a seed that was planted in the first one, as she seemed to really be in... As Lexi's sister really seemed to enjoy what Chucky was doing at the talent show, this is just another little seed that sort of teases some sort of interaction between Lexi's sister and Chucky. And in yet another reveal in this episode, we find out that the detective working these murder cases surrounding Jake and Chucky's murders is actually Devin's mom. I think through poking through his mom's investigation, Devin is going to find out some information that makes his little buddy Jake seem a little sketched out. I think that dynamic is going to play a lot heavier in future episodes. I really like this plot line. I think it's going to give this little circle of characters some really tense dynamic. It's a really interesting bit of writing having Devin's mom investigating his new best friend. Devin at this point even lies to his mom about really even knowing Jake at all. Even though they have this budding friendship, he's completely denying it to his mom. And I also wanted to note right here that the music in this episode is so much better than the first episode. The first episode was just stuffed with these cheesy pop songs. This one suits the series much better, gives it a much better feel. I really love the music in this so far. So now this takes us to the eve of Oliver's big party. It's the eve of the Halloween party, and that's precisely when Jake realizes that Chucky is nowhere to be found. He's no longer in his room, and as the audience, we know shit's about to get real. We see that Chucky has now disguised himself as a trick-or-treater, going house to house, trying to find out where this party is so he can hunt down our little buddy Lexi. The Hello Kitty mask was a great touch too. That was hilarious. We then see Chucky, after getting the information that he needs from this lady, he gives her this very sus-looking apple, and I think we know what's inside that sumbitch. Another indication that Chucky is pretty much just down for random killing at this point. We then cut to the party, and Junior and Lexi are having a strange conversation, further teasing that she has something in store as far as her costume. She's wearing a trench coat at this point, and you know her costume is going to be something having to do with Chucky and Jake. We just don't know what it is yet. They've been teasing her costume this whole episode so far. Jake then arrives at the Halloween party and immediately starts searching for Lexi and Chucky. He knows he doesn't have much time before Chucky starts fucking shit up. As the search goes on, we find out that Chucky is hanging out with Lexi's little sister playing video games. Chucky, to Lexi's sister, is just reveling in all things murderous to her, which Lexi's sister seems to already have a little bit of interest in. If you remember in the first episode, she seemed to really be enjoying watching her sister and everybody in the school just be humiliated by Chucky. We then cut to Junior and Lexi struggling to get to second base as Chucky starts plunging the knife into the bed from underneath. In this really sort of cool technical scene as they roll around in the bed, just missing the knife as it comes up. But Chucky's plans are interrupted when another classmate bursts into the door and Lexi storms out of the room. Chucky's murderous attempts are thwarted for now. We then cut to Jake and Devin, now in a closet, which they were led into earlier in the episode. They're finally released, and they immediately run to the sound of the entire party chanting Lexi's name. We then finally get the reveal of Lexi's costume, and she just straight up recreates Jake's dad's death in front of the entire party, dressed up with Jake's dad, and appears to reenact being electrocuted with her hair blown out, wearing a goatee. It was really fucked up, like almost a little cringy though. I'm not gonna lie, there was like something cringy in the back of my mind, but nonetheless, it was still a really fucked up thing to do. They show for a split second in her face that she realizes that what she's doing is completely fucked up, but she just goes right back to doing it anyway. Jake then escapes and runs out of the house, but once he gets outside, he sort of changes his mind as the anger takes over, and he decides to run back in the house and retaliate. We then cut back to that house that Chucky trick-or-treated at, the one that he gave the apple to, and we find out that he put a razor blade in the apple, of course. And this really gnarly scene where this lady is talking and that blood is just pouring out of her mouth. Ugh, it's grossing me out, but great scene. Chucky's fucked up. Jake then, right in the nick of time, stops Chucky from killing Lexi, and they go back to his house for a little convo, a little heart-to-heart. Chucky, still preying on Jake's vulnerability, pushes him and gives him a little pep talk into killing Lexi and anybody else who has wronged him throughout his entire life, basically pitting him against his entire school. Jake sort of symbolically accepts the knife from Chucky and holds it up, and we get this really cool shot of Chucky and Jake's reflection in the knife. I loved that shot. It was a great little end to the episode. Jake has now seemingly accepted the challenge and made the jump to the dark side with Chucky, so I don't know how this is going to pan out. I imagine that Jake will eventually sort of realize what he's doing is wrong, but right now he's caught up in the moment and he's ready for revenge. The episode then ends there. If you watch the extended version on YouTube, which is fully available right now, there's about 9-10 minutes of sort of bonus footage, what you normally find on like a Blu-ray or DVD bonus footage. Brad Dourif talking about the episode. There's a little featurette about the puppetry and the animatronics of Chucky that's really cool. So if you do watch that on YouTube, it's there. I'm honestly not sure if that's on the sci-fi version or not. But overall, a great episode. Lots going on here. Great cliffhanger. The camera work is great. The soundtrack is better. Chucky's animatronics and animation are just fantastic. If they are using CGI, to me, it's not noticeable. And I think the bulk of it, about 95% of it, is practical, which is great. They're further giving each character their own little arcs, their own depths, which is really, really cool. Character development is, of course, like paramount when you're trying to make characters that you care about. That's how the story works. That's what makes the shows work better. That's what makes them more memorable. You want to go back and rewatch them. This show really isn't surface level like it could have been. They're really taking their time to tell a story here, to develop the characters, and I can't wait to see where this is going. So episode 2 was great. Really, I am so excited to see where this show is going, guys. Let me know what you guys have been thinking about episode 2. I think we're off to a great start. I'm really excited to see where this show goes. I'm so glad we're getting this Chucky series. I think the series format is just perfect for Chucky. So let me know what you guys think, guys. I think we're done here. Remember to stay weird, always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Stay tuned after this. I put that little short that me and Pete recorded about a year and a half ago. So enjoy that, enjoy the cringe, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Look at all of these shitty movies.
What is it, Pete? I'm trying to watch the new Chucky trailer.
What the fuck is this? Well, this looks alright.
I heard it too. Let's go check it out.
Where is that nerd and that stupid little dog?
All right, Pete, he's in the house. We gotta get the hell out of here, okay?